I'm going to tell you why I think you should pay attention to Korea.
This is my favorite kimchi. So hello, I am Sam Richards, and I teach at Penn State University and at Konkuk University, and I'm really happy to be here. I decided to start a YouTube channel because I have so many things that I want to say to Korean people, and I can't really say them in my class because my class is about the entire world, my Social 19 class, but I talk about many issues, so I can only talk about Korea for a small amount of time, and I have so many more things that I want to say.
If I had children, my children would be studying about Korea. I would be sending them to study abroad in Seoul, not to Rome, not to Paris, not to London. I would be, listen, go for it. You want to be part of the future of the world? You go east.
I'm known for having said in some of my videos that if I had children, I would teach them Korean from a young age and send them to Korea to study. That's still true. And I think that I continue to think that Korea is the future. You know, it's a smaller nation than China, but I feel like the future is much more in Korea. And I continue to tell my students that to this day.
Because you have no idea. This is BTS. This is the band. This is the band that really has put K-pop on the charts. Look at these guys. This is the future. And I'm going to put my money on the idea that this trend where these men represent the future of masculinity in many parts all over the world is probably very likely to happen.
You know, the initial thing that got me viral was in Korea was just something that happened by chance. And, you know, life is like that. You know, many things happen by chance. But I woke up randomly one morning and I was listening to the BBC and I heard the story about BTS breaking a record that Taylor Swift set. And I said, BTS, that's the K-pop group that's going to make a breakthrough to the entire world. And I talked about that in class. And you know what I think Koreans don't realize is that I had a volunteer video editor who was 19 years old, had no experience editing video, didn't know who BTS was, didn't know what I was talking about. But just by chance, in the title to that video, they put BTS. And that's how some Korean YouTuber found it. And then they put it out there, and then other Korean YouTubers used the same clip. And so had it not been for that 19-year-old student who knew nothing about Korea or BTS or K-pop or Hallyu or anything, just decided to put those three letters, the name of that group, in the description of the title of the video. Isn't that interesting? We've made about 2,000 videos in class on our channel. And I never know which ones are going to go viral or which ones will never get any views. And I had no idea at all that the BTS video would go viral. And that's of course true with most every video. And you know, what's interesting is the ones that I think many people will watch, often they don't watch. And they will be interested in the ones that I think, okay, well, nobody will be interested in this. You know? When I was in my second year of my master's program and I was applying to PhD programs, I saw my professor one day at the end of the day and I said, hey, I just got rejected from this school and I think I'm going to get rejected from this other school. And I said, but you know what? I'm going to be a famous sociologist one day. I'm going to be famous. And he looked at me like I had two heads, you know, and he said, okay. And I walked away and I said, to myself, I said, I have no idea why I said that to him because I never would say that to somebody. It turns out my whole life, of course, I didn't try to be a famous sociologist and I didn't want to be a famous sociologist. I just wanted to be me, you know? So everything I've done since that time was me just being me and doing what I do and being happy about it. Well, finally, about 4 years ago, I looked him up and I called him. I got his number and I called him at home. He remembered me and I said, hey, do you remember me saying to you that I was going to be a famous sociologist one day? And he said, no, I don't have any memory of that. And I said, oh, God, thank you. I'm so happy. Well, the irony is because of our YouTube videos, which now have about over 500 million views, and people know me as the sociologist from Penn State, and sociologists are not very famous around the world. I mean, nobody knows who sociologists are. But in terms of living sociologists, I'm probably the most famous sociologist in the world. Ah, look, that's my professor. Oh, man. Yeah, that's the one who died. Isn't that interesting? Wow, that's so cool. It's so cool to see him. I think sometimes, wow, it would be really fun if he were still alive to laugh with him about that. You know, I actually became the most famous sociologist in the world and didn't ever want to be and didn't try. And yeah, so that's kind of funny. When somebody says that someone is famous, it doesn't mean that everybody knows them exactly. I mean, when someone says someone is famous, what it means is that other people know them for either what they look like or what they do in the world. It doesn't mean they know them exactly or they know them very carefully, but if they see them or they hear the name or something, they recognize it. So it's like, oh, that professor from Penn State or Sam Richards or the sociologist from Penn State or something like that. That's what fame actually, being famous actually means. And nobody can make that happen. It just usually happens by accident. So the first time I came to Korea was in May of 2022, and I came because I really just needed to find out what was going on with me in Korea. So the second day I was at the palace, and I had a mask on because it was during COVID, and I had a hat on and a mask, and someone recognized me this necklace right here, and the people who I was with, hey, is that the professor? You know, and they said, yeah. He said, oh my gosh. And then after that, everywhere we went, there were always some people who wanted a photo or recognized me or something. And now I've been to Korea, I don't know, 16 times maybe. We go 4 times a year. And each time I go, more and more people recognize me. Everywhere I go in Korea, somebody recognizes me. And it's really fun, and I feel very honored. But you know, it's very unique for me because when I leave, wherever I am, if I leave my apartment where I stay, I have to make sure my hair is combed, and my wife is always saying, Lori is always saying, you can't go out looking like that. People know who you are. And I say, like, nobody knows who I am. Who knows who I am? She said, come on. People know who you are. You have to comb your hair and fix your shirt. And so I'm always now very aware of that. It's a fun experience. It's a unique experience. And I feel so honored every time somebody recognizes me and says hello, and I always want to stop and talk to people. It feels like such a really wonderful thing, you know.
So, starting off a YouTube channel, do you have any things that you want to cover, like that kind of pops up in your head?
The things that I most want to cover are things that I see when I'm in Korea. And the second thing, set of videos I want to make are just videos about my life. I think I have so many interesting things that I do, experiences I have. So I think what I would like to say to people who are watching this video is please in the comments talk about things that you would like to hear me talk about. What do you want me to cover? Or what do you think that I see that you don't see? Or what am I not seeing about Korea? So sometimes Koreans help me to understand some things that I don't really understand. Like, you know, I think I understand nunchi, for example, but I don't. And then some people will send me something about nunchi and they'll say, no, I heard what you said about it, but you need, it's more subtle than that. You need to think about this thing over here. And I go, oh, okay. Yeah. So that's a lot of fun.
So it's about to wrap up. Can you just share what kind of phase you're in?
You know, so we just started class this week. Today was my first class. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun. I always enjoy it. You know, it looks like I'm just walking into class sometimes, just talking, but I've thought out things a lot. And I have to have a topic that's kind of, in English, we say edgy, right? It has to have a kind of something to it that you feel the anticipation, like, oh, what's he going to ask now? Or how are these students going to respond? Or like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want anyone to ever ask me that question, you know? So the topics need to have a component like that. That's what keeps people watching, you know?
So can you share later on that maybe how you kind of prepare for your class?
Yeah. I'm going to make some videos and put on that for this channel, and I'm going to show people how I prepare for a class. And, you know, here I'm in my office at home, and then, you know, going to school, I'll make some videos of me going up to class and then going into the building and the back room, because there's a back room and where we are, where all of our video equipment is, and nobody ever sees it. And I think I'm going to show kind of an insider's view of Sociology 119 and my life.
Okay, we are headed off to class.
Well, we all want to know, really, in a way, what's behind the scenes. Yeah, this is the back room.